Hi everyone. This week in Media Law and Ethics, we went over chapters 21 and 22, and I believe it was just about pressures in advertising. There was a news reporter, her name was Susan Bennett, and the story she covered was about school lunches and whether they were nutritious enough or not. There was a local father who took some issues with some of the things on the menu at the local elementary school, and he felt that those foods had led to certain health problems for his daughter. So he went to Susan to pitch that story, and the story was well underway, and it got killed because it was later brought out that one of the president for one of the car dealerships in towns, his grandchildren and his children attended that school, and it was considered a conflict. It didn't really make sense, honestly. There was no real reason to kill it, in my opinion. But they just, to avoid conflict as much as possible, because the news station has to have advertisers, and one of the biggest advertisers was that car dealership, and they didn't want to ruffle any feathers and ruin their business. But like I said, it was a story about having nutritious food for children in school, so I didn't see any problem with that. But basically, Susan's story got killed, and she couldn't do anything about it. So talked about advertising and how you have to be careful and make decisions that aren't always necessarily what you want, but they're just in everyone's best interest to have as little friction as possible. So the story was killed, and it brought up the topic of censorship, whether you should wait for someone else to censor you, or whether you should self-censor. And Susan opted to self-censor, so she kind of steered clear of certain things. Like, she said she would never, do a story on dealerships or anyone there. She wanted to completely avoid that, make sure there was no friction involved. And honestly, I think for censorship, this was like a really bad example, because the story was completely harmless. It would have only educated us, and it would have been a positive thing for parents, would have been a positive thing, for the school. Like, it was good, positive change, and no one was being attacked. So I think it was really kind of frivolous, if you ask me. But that's not the point. In day-to-day life, being Susan, I would have been really frustrated. I mean, she did the best she could. The story was killed. There was nothing she could do about it. It's not worth losing your job over. So, she went along with what she was told to do, and she followed the rules, and she set up protocol for what she would do in the future in such a situation. And I think that she had the best possible response with the options she was given. And that's pretty much it for chapters 21 and 22 this week. And yeah, I think this chapter actually kind of sucked, but I'll see you guys next week, and tell me what you think in the comments. Bye.